Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope on this. Let's see what day it is. 14th day schedule day. I know a lot of week one has basically been leaked out. A few of the primetime games. I won't get to everything because everything hasn't leaked out. It's coming out. The actual schedule release is coming out as we speak here. But got a great show with you for tonight, folks. Got a great show with you for tonight. Going to talk about the draft lottery. The controversy behind that Cooper Flagg going to the Mavericks. Since I didn't get a chance to talk about the Draymond Green situation from last week, I'll touch on that as well. Derek Carr retiring, and I'll give you my thoughts about the games coming up this week and more. Of course, we'll talk about the NBA playoffs as well. I mean, by the way, great game against Denver and OKC, folks. So stand by. We'll take our first and only break, and I'll be back here momentarily. We'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to Sports, that is Sports with an S, another S, Scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. Okay, I'm back here live. You know what? Let's start off with that draft lottery. That's got a lot of hype going with people. I understand the indication that it's rigged. A team loses a star player, and then they get a team loses a star player. They have a pretty good season, not a big playoff contender type of season. And then they end up getting the number one overall pick. I know it happened when LeBron left for Kyrie Irving. Happened twice with the New Orleans Pelicans when Anthony Davis left. And, of course, when Chris Paul left, they got Anthony Davis. When Anthony Davis left, they end up getting Zion Williamson. I get it. But with a 1.8% chance of winning it, the Mavs won the lottery, drafting what looks like a Victor Wembanyama. I don't think I'm over-exaggerating this by Cooper Flagg here. A Victor Wembanyama, LeBron-like level of can't miss. Now, I'm not saying he is going to be as good as Wembanyama. Of course, Wembanyama's still developing. He's just a very tall player that's very skilled. LeBron, a phenom, had actually lived up to his height as early as his rookie year, numbers-wise and whatnot. I do feel like he's a can't-miss player, though. His ability to move between, to guide himself in the lane, make the right pass, make the right read, time his jump shot perfectly at just 18 years old. He's a combination of the former Maverick, Luka Doncic, and LeBron James, in my opinion, just by watching him just a short period of time at Duke there. So he does feel like that. Excellent handle, shooting ability, because the conspiracy theories came out instantly the other night since the Mavs lost Luka. Many pointed out, and I just mentioned that earlier with New Orleans and the Zion. But here's my thing. Why would the league want to help the Pelicans? If you recall that year that Zion was in the draft lottery, the Knicks had a very good chance of getting the number one pick too. The league loves it when the Knicks play well. Look at the ratings. Look at the crowd size in New York. It's loud. It's intense. We're seeing it right now play out. Obviously, I want to say the Knicks got like the fourth pick that year. The Pelicans got the number one. But we all thought I thought then coming in, and today, even though he's had some problems, I thought Memphis with the number 2 pick with Ja Morant was the better play anyways. But that being said, I can understand. But look at teams like Utah. Utah was a very popular team under John Stockton and Karl Malone. But listen, here recently over the last few years, they lost 2 superstars. They didn't get the number 1 overall pick, Rudy Gobert, and of course, Donovan Mitchell. They had the worst record this particular year, and they're picking 5th. They're picking 5th here. So it's just, it's hard to make that. It's just hard to make that argument. The Knicks, hey, they lost Pat Ewing. There was some controversies about the drafting of Pat Ewing back in 1985, frozen envelope or whatever. But they lost Ewing. I don't remember them getting the number 1 overall pick. They struggled for years. So it's just not as consistent. Heck, the Magic in 1992 and 93 won it twice. There was no real big. I mean, why would you want to put the superstars in Orlando, Florida, or David Robertson and Tim Duncan being the number 1 overall? Why would you want to put it in San Antonio? The ratings are terrible. If you wanted to fix the league, you want to put it with the New York teams, with LA, Boston, Chicago, with the number 1 overall. Remember, Portland got the number 1 overall pick the year that the Bulls end up taking Michael Jordan. Now, all that being said about that, yes, the optics do look bad. I do agree with the masses on that. Why are you not showing the ping pong balls on TV like you used to? I want to say they stopped that in 2019. Say it's not good TV. But look at the ratings decline in the NBA between all the tanking, or not. Well, yeah, maybe not. Well, I guess you could say tanking, but with all the load management, with coaches lecturing us on political politics, with all the 3-point shooting, and all that good stuff, and players coming in out of shape, they're letting the players play more physical because that is helping the ratings in the playoffs. So why wouldn't they try to rig the lottery to help a team like Dallas? That's in the middle of the country, a good market. I can understand. I can see the motivation behind that. So, Adam Silver, yeah, you got to bring it back. You got to televise this thing again. You got to show them load the ping pong balls into the machine. I know media people were present during this. I don't think it was rigged because I know too many people know about it. Somebody would have an axe to grind. Somebody would snitch off the NBA. It just doesn't work that way. I'm familiar with the referee thing and the Tim Donaghy issue going back 20 years when that Kings and Lakers series, saying that they wanted to call the series a certain way. Yeah, I mean, I believe there's some truth to that and whatnot. But rigging a lottery system like that, there would be major lawsuits. People would get fired. There could possibly be criminal charges there. So I just don't believe. that would be the case. But that being said, I want to say that what is it? Mad Dog Russo. Mike and the Mad Dog. He's on ESPN now, long time in New York. Mad Dog Radio, he does XM. I know he does ESPN, does a little bit of everything. He says, listen, why don't you just have the top 4 teams get in the lottery? Well, the top 4 teams do the lottery for the first 4 picks or something like that. He was on the Dan Patrick show. Maybe you can have the top 4 teams play each other, and the team in like a tournament at the end, the winner gets the number 1 pick. And then from so forth, they rank them 1, 2, 3, 4 that way. I think that would be an interesting way to do it. Other than trying to prevent tanking. Now the change, it's what they've done. They've made it less of a chance, like 14% chance of the teams that's lost the most games have a chance. So in one sense, it has worked. It's made it where you can't tank. Tanking looks terrible. It's unethical to do. But what this does, this makes bad organization, Washington Wizards, for example, the Charlotte Hornets, bad organizations pay the money, go out and get the proper management, learn to develop, learn to scout, and do it that way instead of just losing your way. The process looked bad. If you recall the Philadelphia thing, that looked bad. And it blew up in their face. The only player left from that is Joel Embiid, and he's hurt all the time. So I do like it from that perspective. Again, televise everything. Possibly that suggestion with the bottom four there playing each other and helping them out that way. The winner get the top pick. I think that's a pretty good situation there. Okay. So like I said, it was just a really bad, all around bad situation. Negative media perception in the last few years, letting coaches do political rants, team logos in the background, and too many threes, load management. So that's the issue. That's the issue. Too much of a players' league. Players coming out of shape. That is creating resentment towards the league, and which is also keeping the ratings down. Makes the league want to try something new like that per se. So that's the motivation of why they might do it. So I do think there was so much criticism by this and what happened that I do believe that they'll do something about it. To say it in a nutshell. As far as Cooper Flagg himself, like I said, I know that there was a lot of hype about what they should do. Listen, folks, when is the last time, if ever, I cannot remember a time, we're talking NBA, we're not talking NFL here, that a player of his caliber landed on a team that was in the finals 2 years ago. A player that has got, there was a lot of talks and rumors, and of course, Nico Harrison, the general manager there, shot them down about Denver, said, no, we're not going to trade this pick. The idea of trading him for Giannis, are you kidding me? There's no way I would trade an 18-year-old player that you may have for 12, 14 years plus. Maybe 15 if he stays healthy, for a Giannis who may have a good 3 years left per se. No way I would do that. I thought about before the injury, maybe try to work out something, get a Tatum right there. He's a similar player to a Tatum. Then again, now he's coming off a torn Achilles. After further review, like they would say in the NFL, and I think that's what Nico Harrison has said publicly, and the Dallas Mavericks have said as a whole. I don't know specifically. He said it that no, they're going to go to trade it. Look at the key pieces. I can't remember a time where a player of this caliber has came to a ready-made team. Now, Shams Charania has said that there's a they are looking for a point guard. So maybe they don't work out something with Kyrie Irving. But you've got guys like P.J. Washington, who's still a very young guy, with Derek Lively, who's only in his year 3. That's your core he can grow with. And he doesn't have to do too much if you got a guy like an Anthony Davis he can lean on, okay? Like a Klay Thompson he can lean on. You could ease this guy in off the bench, got a Jason Kidd coaching him. You can ease him in. This is an ideal situation for Cooper Flagg where you can try a championship with him coming off the bench, depending on how well he picks up to the pro game, escalate his minutes more and more as the season goes along or into the next season. You could do one of those matters per se. And of course, they may make some moves with some of these other players. And then you can transition from AD, Klay Thompson, and Kyrie, move off all three of those guys. You'll have some salary cap, and then you can build P.J. Washington. You'll have a year 3 of a Cooper Flagg there, kind of a transit. This is called ideal situation. This don't normally happen. 1.8% chance of this actually happening. This is huge for Dallas. I think this guy, Nico Harrison, not getting enough draft picks aside, has been a pretty good general manager, makes some really dicey moves. He is drafted well. And my dad used to tell me the harder you work, the luckier you get. So I do think there was a little bit of luck there. I do not think this thing was rigged. And I do think that they did the right thing so far, saying, listen, we're going to draft the flag and we're going to keep him and grow this team as is with that number 1 pick. That was really cool and exciting. Okay. Now, I wanted to go with this Draymond Green thing. A lot of this stuff ties together. It's part of the criticism of the NBA, where it's so much of a players' league. I mean, the owners don't take any kind of, or the broadcast networks. They're very weak at taking strong stances about getting players to be more professional and whatnot, and people just saying crazy stuff. Like I said, you've got coaches doing political rants here. You're writing all this woke stuff on the course. Now they got rid of all that and stuff. They finally did something about load management. They had to adjust the season as far as getting awards and whatnot. You had to play 65 games and whatnot. But you just got this lack of appreciation and gratitude from guys like Draymond Green. That's a major turnoff here. He wants to play, and I know that this is went along in the political landscape. You've got opportunists use this, and you got people from ESPN, media personalities. The blacks are victims no matter what the situation is. Last week when Steph Curry went out with what was it? It wasn't a thigh. I think it was a calf injury, which can be really, a calf strain can be very serious. He's not going to play tonight. So I think it's probably over for him. But the first game without him, which was last week, Draymond Green is doing typical Draymond Green things, flailing, hitting a player. I think it was Naj Reid or whatnot, in the side of the face, like he's done many times. I'm going to play a montage. And they stopped the game. The referee, also a black guy, looks at it and says, he looked at it a few times and said, yeah, that was a foul. Said, we'll tee him up. That's his 5th technical. 1-2 more. He's going to get suspended a game just like he did back in 2016 in the playoffs that triggered that comeback for the Cavs. If not, Steph would have 5 rings right now instead of 4. So this is Draymond Green after it happened, going to the victim card. Very weak, even for a Draymond Green type. Listen to him after the game.
I look like the angry black man. I'm not an angry black man. I'm a very successful, educated black man with a great family. And I'm great at basketball. I'm great at what I do. The agenda to try to keep making me look like an angry black man is crazy. I'm sick of it. It's ridiculous.
And people are sick of hearing that. I will say this, that primarily felt on deaf ears with a lot of the media, except for the Athletic try to write a story and say, which is now owned by the New York Times. You see where the division comes from with their agenda and whatnot. But here's the thing. I was looking at this on the X app. This was last week when this was fresh, and it had like 1 or 2 likes and 1 or 2 think about it, with the power of the New York Times, 1 or 2 reposts instead of thousands. It was just people were so over Draymond Green, and of course Steve Kerr gave a mild, well, he just got he's playing on the edge. He didn't even comment about that part. But Draymond Green has a reputation of being a, quote, dirty player, this flat out dirty player. I found this off TikTok. Look at some of the montages. Here's a montage of Draymond Green over the years, and now him trying to play the victim card. This is very Ron Artest, Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer, going back to the 80s type of play. Here we go. Check it out.
Poked him in the eye. Just watch his left hand come up right there.
Oh, yeah. Goodness. Draymond came by and caught Austin Rivers.
Draymond Green. Green. That's Draymond Green.
Jackson has Steph on a switch. And look at Brooks get him right back. And Steph
doesn't have to turn to Kuminga.
The right arm, look at the left elbow, right to the beard chin of James Harden. Oh, and look at the right foot too. You're right. Look at that right foot.
got it! They'll say he had possession, so they reset the shot clock. He also hit back.
Rockets point.
Reeves will do it.
It's the leg, guys. Watch the leg. Oh my goodness.
Looked like Draymond gave
his own man is the one who
Draymond
knocked
gave
him
him a
off
little
balance.
nudge, though, Reggie, a little nudge.
And, you know, I was watching that, and as strong as a guy like a Steven Adams, I'm surprised. And I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad it calmed down that he didn't put a Draymond Green's head into that hardwood floor. He's one of the strongest players in the NBA. But you get my point. Total montage there. Draymond Green, he's at the end of his career. I think personally he did that because he knew exactly where this game and series were going. Once Steph got out, and he says, you know what, I'll either spark it or I'll get thrown out. I don't want to deal with this. I can't take all this. And that's what happened. So when you play that role, you expect things to come back your way. Kind of reminded me of Ron Artest with his casual elbow of James Harden back when Harden was with the Oklahoma City, later changed his name to Metta World Peace type of play there. So it is what it is. I'm glad that a lot of people called him out for that. And like I said, you are what your reputation says you are because, I'm glad that there's some accountability in this league because it seems like it's none, And I was looking through TikTok as well, and I stumbled on this is stuff that why people do not like the NBA. This is why there have been drastic moves. And like I said, I do really like this physicality brought to the NBA. Now that's Bush League. What he does is Bush League. But as far as like the physicality, as far as the Detroit with the Pistons and the Knicks this past series, love that physicality. I think it's great as long as it don't go too far to get some Draymond Green type of play. But, we talked about the Luka Doncic stuff, just the lack of respect for the game. And here's a clip here I'm about to play here of Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson saying, listen, these guys aren't coming in out of shape and they're getting injured. Listen up.
Poked him in the eye.
There's two things that hurt. It's hurting the league and hurting players, and they don't even know it. They shorten training camp. That's why we have a lot of injuries. They don't want to work that hard. Okay, that's why you get injured now at the start of the season because your body is not in 100% condition. You're not in top physical shape like we were. Mm-hmm. And so that has hurt. And then I was with Michael Jordan, and he says, Irvin, I don't know why these guys, because if you look at his record, he almost played every game like 5 or 6 times throughout his career. He didn't miss one game. He played in every game. We wanted to play in every game. Yeah. Even for me, I love the NBA game, but then I turn on to a game, right? And then the stars are not playing because of load management. It's hurting the game.
Yeah, he played hard, had a great attitude, brought it in the playoffs, brought it in the regular season, and that kind of grit, that's what we got to get back to in this league, And you could see all those players, Anthony Davis coming in out of shape, Luka Doncic, one of the biggest ones now, coming in. Hopefully, if this don't motivate him getting traded to the Lakers, nothing will motivate him. And then on top of that, they end up getting the number 1 pick. So I'm glad guys like Barkley, we know Barkley on TNT saying a lot of this stuff. Now you got guys like like your Magic Johnson. And, of course, now we've heard that Michael Jordan's going to – I don't know how much he's going to be on there. But next year when the NBC gets the NBA back, he's going to be a special contributor there. I'm sure they'll bring him in on some of the big games. Not too many, but I'm sure like for playoff situations and whatnot. He's a pretty honest guy. I can see him commenting on conditioning as well, kind of getting these guys squared away. Now, listen, there's players in here that do come in shape, and I greatly appreciate it. For the most part, LeBron's one of those guys. Much as I don't like LeBron, he does come in out of shape. The late, great Kobe Bryant always came in shape. LeBron in shape, for players playing now. But you got to get more of that. You need more Joel Embiid coming in shape, per se. Okay? So kind of tying all that together. But, as far as getting over a problem, the first step to getting over a problem is admitting you got a problem, per se. Okay? But anyways, to the games themselves, folks. Again, with OKC, Denver, as I predicted, I thought Denver would wear down late. Speaking of guys, and I love Joker, but he doesn't look like he's in the best shape in the world. He is a great player. He's very coordinated. He's gotten better shape over the years. Don't get me wrong. He was a second-round pick. That's probably one of the reasons, because he didn't look like he was in the best shape in the world. But they come up short. Had an 8-point lead at one time, 9-point lead with the best player in the world, with Aaron Gordon and with Jamal Murray, and they still couldn't do it. They're going to have to find a fourth player. They're going to have to find a younger version of a Russell Westbrook to come off the bench and help them. I still think, plus they'll get a new coach next year. They're on an interim coach right now. I think things will be okay. OKC kind of reminds me of a young Boston team a few years ago. You guys know I'm a big fan of Sam Presti. Gets in and out of. By the way, never got the number one pick. They've got a great team. So the number one pick don't mean everything. Never got the number one pick. Remember, Durant was a number 2 pick. I think Westbrook was in the top 5, if I'm not mistaken. So 81% chance that OKC will win that series now after winning late. They didn't win early, but they won late, and they did win last night. Great game. Just watched it on recording here just a few minutes ago. Now, as far as the Knicks Knicks in Boston, Knicks have been more consistent ball movement since Game 2 of the Detroit series. I noticed that Jalen Brunson's shooting is going down, passing going up. It's like they heard me talk about them. This hero ball that they were playing in the first few games of the series, and a lot they've done in the past with Jalen Brunson, taking too many shots, not getting everybody involved enough. Now they could still get better. This thing could still fall apart, but I got to give credit where it's due. I think I said this the other day, but I'll say it again. If I didn't say it, you're hearing it for the first time. The bigs, forget about everything else. Well, I know about Tatum's injury, but that's really unfortunate. I think he'll bounce back, by the way. But the bigs have outplayed the bigs for Celtics. Mitchell Robertson and Karl Anthony Towns have outplayed Kristaps Porzingis. He's got some kind of viral issue that he's been getting over since a few months. He needs to go see a specialist or something. But viral infection that's been bothering him. 38-year-old Al Horford versus Mitchell Robertson. 100% now. Look what he looks like. Man, was he a big boost once he came back for the New York Knicks with a Karl Anthony Towns. Love their chemistry right now. Playing really well. These guys have really, really played well in the last few games, and it shows up consistently. And, of course, insult to injury. Tatum tears his AC, not an AC. I don't know why I keep wanting to say. Tears his Achilles. Those are the two injuries that really get you bummed out. Tears his Achilles. Not sure when he may come back. I heard maybe he might come back by the All-Star break. That will be rough. He's still pretty young, 27 years old. Chance a guy like that works hard, heals fast. You never know. Maybe he's back by January. I'm sure he'll probably miss a chunk of training camp, but we'll see. We'll see how his recovery goes. Not quite as big and as old as Kevin Durant was at that time. I think he'll heal for pretty quick. He's already got the surgery done. But as far as the Knicks are concerned, back to the team that actually won. Love the team chemistry. Love the potential matchup there with Indiana. I'll go back and double check. But they got a shot at the finals. And the big take from this is Tom Thibodeau's job, I think, getting past this round. The team has not fallen apart, knock on wood. And I'm not trying to curse them in the playoffs like they have last year and a few years ago when they were on a run here. There is a very good chance that they're going to get to the finals. So I do think, as of right now, Tom Thibodeau just saved his job by the gutty play of coming back from 2 20-point deficits on the road and Boston not really able to capitalize on the road in game 4. Now they're down 3-1. I expect them to close it out probably in the next game or so. Okay. Kudos to – I did not see that coming. Did anybody really see it coming? I don't think so. Other than your guys like your my man Jeffrey Deskovic, who just says he had a good feeling. He had a good feeling, and I don't think he was playing homer there. So we shall see. Maybe I'll bring Jeffrey back on the program at some point and get his explanation why he thought the Knicks were going to win this thing. You know, although they have an upgraded team and it's finally fully healthy. As far as Indiana, Cleveland, listen, the pace of Indiana, Cleveland never really adjusted. I know that Darius Garland was injured. I want to say Mobley got banged up the other day and came back. But, man, this team's really well coached from Rick Carlisle. Plus, you've got the nice combination, very overlooked team. This also kind of reminds me of a team like a 2004 Detroit Pistons team. Well, it's not really like any mega stars on the team, but you got that nice little combination and talent there. But I like the guys that are pretty young. Then you've got some vets there as well. You've got your Tyrese Halliburton, your Nimrod's guys, 2 guys just 25 years old. I actually thought they were younger than that. This is a pretty seasoned, scary team. They could get to the finals. But then you mix them in with a Pascal Siakam, which was a great, man, what a money trade that was last year. And it's paid dividends 2 years in a row in the playoffs. Getting that Pascal Siakam at that trade deadline with a T.J. McConnell and, of course, Miles Turner. These guys are all 29, 30, 31 years old. Nice combination with your 25-year-olds, Nimrod, and, of course, Halliburton there. Burton, great game last night. They finish off Cleveland. There was a stat on Cleveland. I mean, one of the only few teams, I think 4 teams that won 64 games. Man, what a disappointment. Hopefully they can come back and get squared away here. One of them did not get past the second round in the playoffs. Who won? The Cleveland Cavs, who won, I got this off of the Google AI, won 64 games in 24-25, were eliminated by the Pacers. While they did not advance beyond the second round, they are not the only. They're one of only 4 teams that failed to make to do so after winning at least 68 games. So, or 64 games. It is what it is. I don't think they're going to change coaches again. That's what they did last year. Maybe a few tweaks to their offense. They're very 3-point centric as well. I've said this in the past. I don't think you can win big with Donovan Mitchell. He's too ball centric. Although, man, they had a very impressive. Remember, they won the first 15 games regular season. They go on big winning streaks here. Maybe a tweak here, tweak there, and come back next year. and see what happens. I don't know if there'll be an air quote fluke or not. I do believe in Mobley, and of course I do believe in Darius Garland. And, I know he was dealing with an injury. I get it. So, anyways, as far as the other series, I went in on Draymond Green. Minnesota, this looks to be another 5-game series here. Look at Minnesota, who played in the Western Conference Finals. They're 1 game away from playing again in the Western Conference Finals with just 2 5-game series there. Not the most talented team in the world, but the team that's got the less wear and tear in the playoffs, if you think about it, because they've got 2 5-game series when you're playing a team that's going, 6-gamer there, a pretty rough 6-gamer there in this Oklahoma City, having to play a Denver team. So, and they're very young, 22-year-old guys. Now, I know SGA for OKC is it's like, 26, 27. He's a little bit older there. But still, Holmgren's very young. Jalen, all those guys, pretty young team. That being said, let's see how it plays out. I have to dig more into that here in the next game or so. Of course, both teams have to close it out. Both teams look in good shape to play each other in the Western Conference Finals. So we'll see how that one plays out. Very impressed, though, the way Minnesota has played. Kind of thought that it would play out that way, per se. All righty, then, to the NFL. Just a quick take here on Derek Carr. Speaking of injury, someone brought this up the other day. He was never really 100% the same guy after he broke his fibula back in December 2016. Had a borderline MVP season that year. Still had some moments here and there. Looks like that he's a very loyal guy. That got the best of him. Loyal, very familiar. Wanted to work with Dennis Allen, and that was a former Raiders coach. I was talking about his fibula when he broke back with the Raiders. I think they had like the 1 seed at one time. They had a very high seed, and of course, with the bad organization, traditionally bad, like the Raiders have been since Al Davis in his later years, and of course Mark Davis. Now he's decided to go ahead and do this shoulder surgery. Wants to take this year off. He's stuck with a team like the Saints that ain't going anywhere. They're busted on the cap. He didn't want to have to take a year, rehab, and then push his way out of town. I can see him just want to retire. I think he was a good, solid quarterback, not a great quarterback. Never really been on a great organization, a great team that showed great character throughout the years. Maybe he gets into commentating. Who knows? Carr was a good player. He was a better player than his brother, who's the number 1 overall pick. Remember, Derek Carr was a 2nd-round pick with the Raiders there, So I think he had a good career. Thought he could have had a great career looking at him at times. But we'll see how this thing plays out as far as the Saints. I think if they don't do nothing this year, and I don't think they will, they're going to be in the market probably for quarterbacks, depending on what they do with the players that are on the roster. And I can't think of that guy's name right now. I would say it, but I don't think the 4th-round pick from the year before last is going to do anything with the same. Maybe the guy from Syracuse wins the job. I know they got a new coach here. But the truth of the matter is Mickey Loomis needs to bust that team up. And like I said, at the end of last year, I would have fired him anyways because he should have blown that team up years ago and get their cap situated. They've been over the cap since Drew Brees left. We're talking 3 or 4 years from now, 3, 4, 5 years, going on 5 seasons with them being the worst cap situation in the entire NFL. So the Saints are starting to look like the Aints again. Kind of wish that owner would just sell the team. She seems very passive, just my opinion. So thought that was the thoughts there on Derek Carr. Now, as far as the NFL Week 1 I guess that's I can comment on that. As far as the week 1 schedule league per se, I really didn't like the Dallas playing the Eagles. I thought maybe the Eagles would play. They would play maybe the Commanders because they played them in the NFC Championship game, or perhaps redo the Super Bowl, maybe redo the Super Bowl with Kansas City, or play Buffalo to have a big out-of-conference game to start the season here. But that's not going to happen. But after further review, thinking about that game, I thought to myself, well, Dallas has, the fact that they're paying Dak Prescott $60 million, they're going to have depth issues. They've got George Pickens on this team. They've had to upgrade their offensive line. Well, they've had to patchwork, upgrade is not the right word. They had to use the first-round pick there to fill in for Zach Martin, who retired, their best offensive lineman, probably a Hall of Famer. The fact that they're playing early, so that'll be a pretty good early primetime game. They'll have a chance to win it because they'll be healthy because it's just week 1. Now, unless there's obviously, training camp injuries, it's about a 7-point spread there because it is the divisional game. You would think, man. But that'll be a pretty good game, actually, the more I thought about it. When I first looked at it, I was a little upset, but that'll be your Thursday night game. The TV people cannot stay away from the Dallas Cowboys. There's such a good draw, per se. So that'll be an interesting game. Now, I tell you what, this game right here, it's going to be on YouTube TV, and I think it's going to be free. Now, this Chiefs-Chargers game, that's going to be, remember, O'Ron Merriman, whatever his name is, the new running back there out of Carolina, Najee Harris. The Chiefs are going to have the Chargers are going to have a very good shot to knock this Chiefs team out. And, of course, you're going to give Andy Reid all summer to prepare for this. Did not like the offseason of the Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of patchwork there. Remember, they let Joe Thuney go on that offensive line. They still had issues at left tackle. We saw them get smoked in the Super Bowl. So it's good to see. And they're going down to Brazil just like last Friday. Hopefully, we'll all get to see it. I think this game is going to be free on YouTube. So this is the Friday of week 1. The Friday of week 1 in Brazil, Chiefs, Chargers. I don't understand why he's wanting to do all these divisional games early. Usually the NFL will do divisional games later on in the season. They'll get these wild out like a Detroit and a Kansas City a few years ago. You'll do like last year, it was a good game too. A replay of the AFC Championship. You had a Baltimore, Kansas City type of game. I thought that was really good. Remember, that was a tight game come down to the last play there. But they're doing the whole divisional thing this year. Same thing here with the Bengals and the Browns. That'll be a pretty good game. Who will be playing for the Browns? Probably week 1, Joe Flacco, but I'm hearing that Schroeder Sanders is having, it's mini camps, but he's having a good mini camp, and he looks like the best player already between him and Dylan Gabriel. So we'll see how that thing plays out. Now, that would really be a big story if he end up winning the job in week 1. Maybe Flacco gets hurt in training camp or something. We already know that Deshaun Watson's going to be inactive during training camp. That's another story to follow, too. Will they release Deshaun Watson or trade him in season once he gets back healthy, per se? That'll be pretty awkward. But it's looking like, I think he tore his Achilles as well. Maybe a minute for he gets back. But they're going to be playing the Bengals, who went pretty heavy defense in the draft, still working out something. Trey Henderson still not happy with the Bengals. Will he show up the training camp. That's the edge rusher. They really need him to show up the training camp. And they end up getting Higgins re-signed. So that'll be a pretty good game. Consider the fact, really good draft. 2 running backs. Very good defensive tackle there. Re-signed Myles Garrett to an extension. That Cleveland team will be a good team. That would be a pretty good defense there. You know, I know you can have disarray at quarterback and everything fall apart. That'd actually be a pretty good week 1 game. That was one that caught my attention. Other games in week 1 that has caught my attention. I tell you what, Giants, Commanders, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's debut will be against a high-flying offense like the Washington Commanders with their left tackle now, Laremy Tunsil, who they acquired from the Houston Texans. Going against Brian Burns and/or Abdul Carter and that pass rush of the newly New York Giants team. Remember, they added was it Javon Holland there? I want to say the safety there, a free agent out of Miami. They've got some good players on defense, and then you got Russell Wilson on the other side there. Let's see how well he can get the ball to his playmakers, you know, especially the Malik Neighbors of the world. So that'll be an interesting game there. Let's see how good that can hang up. Now, hey, does he get in the sophomore slump, Jaden Daniels? I don't know. We're about to find out. That'll be a good opening game, actually, and that's in week 1. Other games from week 1. Listen. Texans at the Rams. CJ Stroud and that offense. Now, they did lose Laremy Tunsil, but they feel like they've got his replacement there intact. You're going Houston with Stroud there, no Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, that group against that Rams team that looked like they were pretty close to getting to the Super Bowl last year. On that fast track, that'll be an out-of-conference game. That'll be a good, possible high-scoring game with excellent quarterback play between Stroud and Matt Stafford, who's also got his new contract. And you've got Devontae Adams with Puka Nacua there. That's going to be interesting. Now, right now, I'll probably take the Rams at home, folks. Sorry, Texans fans, on that particular game. That'll be a good one. Just going over week 1, folks. Listen, the Titans here out of Nashville. Titans in Denver playing in week 1. You've got first-year starter Cam Ward. Brian Callahan's already implicated. He's already let it be known that he's going to implement some of what Miami's doing. Of course, he'll add his own, stuff that Cam Ward feels comfortable with. He's going to add some more of what Miami done that Ward was successful with to the offense. Now, that's a Andy Reid type of move. That's what he does with his players. So you're going to get him see him play on the road against a Denver team and second-year Bo Nix. They made some upgrades on the defensive side. They made some offensive upgrades as well. Does Bo Nix, does he go into a sophomore slump, or does he take that next step and make that big jump like a lot of quarterbacks typically do, and players in general per se? There's some quarterbacks that made it to the Super Bowl in second year. I don't think Bo Nix will, but maybe a Jalen Daniels. He'd be in his second year. So you got first-year quarterback versus second-year quarterback, new and improved Tennessee team versus Denver team. I'm sure Denver's going to be about 3.5-point favorites there. You've got Sean Payton out there in Denver. That'll be a great game. So that will be 4:30 Eastern, 4 Eastern, 4:05 Eastern, 3:05 Central. I cannot wait for that game. That will be a good game for the Titans and the Denver Broncos. This is just week 1, folks. Week 1, man, I mean, the Lions and the Packers, you think about that. Lions got new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. Now, they still have a loaded roster. You got the first-round pick out of, I want to say it was out of Texas there to add to that wide receiving core there with the Green Bay Packers. The real question was Jordan Love more of a 10-game sample size from a middle of the year before last throughout the playoffs into some games last year? Or is he just an up-and-down quarterback that looks good so often? We'll see. We will see. We'll see if was that a flash in the pan. Is he a hot and cold guy? Is he just a cold guy? Was it just injuries that he was dealing with? We'll find out. This will be a good game. This would be a game that if you're Green Bay and all the familiarity with that staff and that young talent, look how Green Bay looked before Watson, before Love got hurt last year. And they had the Eagles on their heels in week 1 last year. Remember that Brazil game? The field was real slick. They need to check that out this year before they play again in Brazil. Hopefully they won't be at the same stadium. But anyways, I digress. That will be a good shot for Green Bay to get an early one on Detroit because they lost both of their coordinators. May give them may take them a little bit of time to get implemented. If I'm the Lions, I would not want to play a strong conference opponent like the Packers. I'd rather play a much weaker team at a division per se. I can't think of anybody that's super weak right now. Maybe playing Saints. I was just talking about them. Just talking a little bit of week 1 match. Week 1's going to be very good. Very good. You've got the Ravens and the Bills, and that may be your NFC Championship game again, or AFC Championship game again between the Ravens and the Bills. They will be playing at Buffalo. That place will be rocking, and I want to see. Yeah, that's Sunday Night Football. As I said a few weeks ago after the draft, looking at all the defensive players, I was okay with their lack of adding wide receivers. I don't think they had a problem. They extended Shakur. They've got really good tight ends there. I like their second round pick from last year coming into this season per se. They've also added Joey Bosa. Do you forget that? They added Joey Bosa there on this football team. This could be the AFC championship. And then you look at the Ravens. The Ravens, by the way, just extended Derrick Henry. I don't know how good that – I just keep thinking Derrick Henry is going to fall off. But they extended him another 2 years today. Pretty good little healthy extension there for a guy post-30. We'll see how that game plays out. The Ravens are the Ravens. They're well run. That's going to be a fun game. I like Buffalo in that game right now, but we got to see the injury report come start the season. But that's a really good – that's hitting the ground running, pull the bull by the horns type of game right off the bat here in week 1. I love that. So, other big games we'll have to see. I know that there's some good Christmas Day games. I want to say that I screenshotted it. Let me look at here. Netflix has got a good one this year. They got them at 1 Eastern and 4 Eastern, which is what I really like per se. Netflix. Now this could still be pretty interesting if Dallas don't have too many injuries. Dallas versus the Commanders at 1 o'clock Eastern, and then at 4:30 Eastern, which would be 3:30 Central. The Lions and this is Christmas Day, Thursday. So the Lions will play back to back. The Lions will play the Vikings Okay. The Lions will play the Vikings. So that's some pretty good games there now. Obviously, we're looking at it on May the 14th. There could be injuries. These could be garbage games. The teams that we think may be garbage games may be good games. I remember looking at the schedule last year thinking the Commanders game will just probably be okay to mediocre playing against the Bengals on, I think it was like Monday night or something. And the Bengals could not stop that Commanders team. I mean, Daniels was rolling up and down the field. I think it was Monday night. And I thought, is their defense that bad or is this guy that good? And it was a combination of both. So tomorrow, folks, that was just a few of them, by the way. I didn't even get to the Giannis story that he says he will be open to a trade. So we'll have to see how that one plays out. So going back to that Derrick Henry, 2-year, $30 million extension, 25 guaranteed. Hey, they like him. They like him, man. They don't see he's slowing down any up there in Baltimore. He's a tough son of a gun, and he is definitely in tip-top shape here. Folks, if you like the show, please share the show. I'll be back here tomorrow with the Mad New Yorker. We'll talk about our best games. We'll talk about get his thoughts on the way the schedule plays out. We'll touch on this stuff. I won't get too crazy in predictions. Just games he likes to see and whatnot. I'll go over some of the NBA news with him as well. But thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, here on the Real Sports Scope. Good night, everybody.